Controversy arises in a once quiet forest near the Fraser River, where protesters have halted log operations because they claim block logging, they intend to cut down the trees in the area, uses unsustainable practices. Block Logging is a large logging company focusing on the extraction and transportation of lumber. They operate mostly in British Columbia and have been consistently profitable since their founding. The environmental group Low Axle is protesting what they claim to be unsustainable practices by preventing Block from cutting down any of the trees in the Fraser River area. Loaxo only numbers 30 to 40 people at this time, but others are beginning to rally around their cause and join them. Loaxo goes back over a century, around the time Europeans began fishing for salmon in the Fraser River. They were originally formed to protest the extreme overfishing of these salmon, but weren't particularly successful in that endeavor. Nonetheless, they've kept at it for over 100 years, protesting anything at all that threatens the areas near the river. Logging in British Columbia goes back a long way as well, all the way back to the first natives to come to the land. They only cut what they needed to survive and lived sustainably for centuries until the Europeans came. Europeans, unlike the natives, were cutting wood for profit rather than for survival, and so when shipping technology evolved, they began exporting as much wood as they could possibly cut, and their practices quickly became unsustainable. Block logging operates in a similar fashion, and they clear-cut large sections of forest, or at least they did so until they came to the forest of the Fraser River, where lots of sabotaged the logging machines to force them to stop cutting the trees. Clear-cutting is a method of extraction in which a logging company rolls in and cuts down every tree they can find. It's a very simple method and yields a large profit. Block is now opening negotiations with Loaxo. Loaxo is claiming that Block is being wasteful and is doing serious damage to the environment, but Block is responding that they are planting 3 trees for every one they cut down. Loaxo counters that since this system leaves only saplings behind, these saplings they leave behind are very vulnerable to environmental damage and acid rain. Block is arguing that this is fully necessary to preserve the economic security of the logging industry, since it is the only financially viable method of extraction. Lasso suggested shelter wood cutting, but Bogg is against it because it takes years to set up and isn't particularly viable economically. After fewer suggestions are suggested and are shot down by the opposing groups, the two groups eventually agree on tree farms supplemented by shelter wood cutting. Tree farms are pretty much what people expect them to be, trees being grown on large fields as crops, such the same way corn is. The situation has now been resolved, and Block will now move on to areas where there will be a shelterwood cutting. Shelterwood cutting being a long-term, slow method of cutting trees that is much more environmentally sustainable. This has been Joseph Gorin on Sea at the Fraser Forest.